He was a farmer on the edge of losing everything: his land, his dignity, and the only life he'd ever known. She was a stranger in need on a dusty roadside. He gave her his last loaf of bread and thought nothing of it. But what she did next changed his entire life forever. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness sows the biggest harvest. In a quiet rural village surrounded by dry fields and distant hills lived a farmer named Samuel. Samuel had always believed in hard work. But over the years, droughts, rising costs, and bad luck had left him with little. His crops failed, his debt grew, and the land that had been in his family for generations now hung by a thread. Every morning, Samuel walked the cracked soil of his land, hoping for a miracle. Every night, he fell asleep to the hum of silence, his heart heavy with worry. His neighbors had left for the cities, but Samuel stayed, loyal to the earth beneath his feet. Even in hardship, he never stopped helping others. When a neighbor lost his ox, Samuel lent his own. When a child went hungry, Samuel gave bread, even if it meant going without dinner himself. One scorching afternoon, as Samuel was returning from the local market with the last of his savings spent on fertilizer, he noticed a car pulled over. By the side of the dirt road, the hood was up, steam hissed from the engine, and a woman stood beside it, clearly distressed. Her phone had no signal, and she had no idea where she was. Without hesitation, Samuel approached. "Engine's overheated," he said gently. "Looks like the radiator's cracked." She sighed. "I've been stuck here for hours. I didn't expect the countryside to be so remote." He offered her water and a loaf of homemade bread he'd packed for his own lunch. "I'll help you get to town," he said. "There's a mechanic 5 miles down the road." He hitched up his old cart and gave her a lift. She tried to offer money, but he shook his head. Kindness doesn't carry a price. The woman introduced herself as Claire. She asked Samuel about his life. His eyes betrayed fatigue, but he spoke with calm dignity. "This land," he said, "has fed generations of my family. Even when it feeds me less, I try to honor it. What else is a man to do?" Claire listened, really listened, something Samuel wasn't used to. They reached the town, got the car to a mechanic, and shared stories over tea. Before leaving, she asked for his full name and address. "In case I get lost again," she smiled. Samuel thought little of it. He returned to his fields that evening, back to the silence, back to the struggle. What he didn't know was that Claire was Claire Whitmore, a billionaire philanthropist, land conservationist, and founder of a global foundation for sustainable agriculture. 3 weeks later, Samuel found a letter in his dusty mailbox. Inside was a personal note. "Dear Samuel, you gave me bread when you had little, help when I was stranded, and dignity when I felt powerless. But most importantly, you reminded me what quiet strength looks like. I've made some calls. You'll find that your debt is paid. Your land is now protected by a long-term conservation grant, and if you wish, we'd like to make your farm a pilot site for sustainable agriculture, funded and supported by my foundation. You sowed kindness, and now it's time for your harvest." With gratitude, Claire Whitmore tears filled Samuel's eyes. He reread the letter over and over. He didn't help her because she was rich. He helped her because it was right. And in return, life had given him a new beginning. Months passed and everything changed. Samuel's farm transformed. New irrigation systems, solar panels, a training center for young farmers from nearby villages. The land was alive again, not just with crops, but with purpose. He hired workers, mentored students, became a voice for ethical, sustainable farming. His story traveled far and wide, the humble farmer whose quiet kindness reshaped a future. And through it all, he never once stopped offering help to strangers, because to Samuel, wealth wasn't measured in money. It was measured in how many seeds of hope he could plant in others. Times, the most powerful changes in our lives begin with a simple act of kindness, not done for reward, not done for recognition, but done from the heart. Samuel didn't. No, the woman he helped was a billionaire. He just knew she needed help. And because of that, the world gave back in ways he could never imagine. If this story moved you, please like this video and share it with someone who still believes in the goodness of people. Subscribe to Kindness Echoes for more inspiring, emotional stories that celebrate the beauty of small acts with big impact. Turn on the bell icon and remember, when you sow kindness, you never know what kind of harvest life will bring.